is the beautiful and the lovely and the beer laden and rubber band flicking amazing magician from Germany, direct from Munich, Mr. Denis Behr. There he is. Boom! Look at that.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Wie geht's?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Good. Danke.
Guten Abend. Is it evening there?
It is. It's like almost 7 p.m.
It's beer time. Let me get my American champagne here.
Delicious.
I don't think I've ever seen a photograph of you or a video of you without a stein or a bottle of beer nearby.
Yeah, maybe. But
You're German through and through. What do you think? What's your favorite American beer, or is there such a thing? Do you even call it beer when you come here? Come on. Don't be a beer snob.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of craft beer also there.
Yeah, a lot of good craft beer, right? What do you think of those?
Little breweries. I think they are very good ones. Maybe not the Coors or Budweiser or so.
No. When you come visit me here in Yellow Springs, we have a very nice little craft brewery, Yellow Springs Brewery, down the road. I think you'll like it. We'll spend some time there. Yeah. Where did we meet? We met in Spain, I believe.
Yeah, that was one of the first meetings. That was, I don't know, 2008 or 9,
something like that. Big Spanish National Convention, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was memorable. I think Leonard was there, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Danny and all the gang.
Danny, yes, before he was ultra famous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when Danny was, just a little bit underground. They knew him he was ultra famous over there.
Oh, yeah.
In Spain. Did you ever go to any of the Escorials in Spain?
I did, but I haven't been for many years now, 7 or 8 years. I don't speak Spanish myself, and a lot of it is in Spanish. So
well, that's easy. You just sit next to Roberto when that happens.
Yes. There are many that speak both, but still.
Yeah.
And also, it's at the end of October usually.
Oh yeah, and you're still either recovering or getting ready for Oktoberfest. Which one is it? You're training.
That would be recovering, but it's also, of course, a time where you might have some jobs to do, like Christmas parties already and stuff like this.
Yeah. There's a lot of work. Yeah.
Or theater shows.
Yeah.
Normally when it's not a pandemic.
I want to talk about your theater shows. But first, I want to talk about how you got into this stuff. How did you, because I know, you're one of these guys who I talk about often that is, but you're not though. You're not. You're a professional magician in that you do theater shows. You do plenty of, you work more than a lot of pros that I know, but it's not your main job. Is that right?
It isn't, no. It has never been, actually, no. I always did it as a side job. I studied mathematics and now work in computer programming and no.
Well, when you see your work, you understand where the mathematics and the computer programming come in, because you do a lot of interesting things with, mathematical principles that are deeply disguised in card magic,
Yeah, I like those, yeah.
You like those? I know you do. And they're hard to do for most people. Like, they're hard to, how much am I missing out in magic by not knowing a mem deck? How much am I missing out?
I don't know. I think it is very strong magic, and for a lot of it, there's no substitute. So it's a bit like the Pharaoh shuffle. If you cannot do it, the tricks are out of.
Well, yeah, they're out of your reach. There are things that you can't do otherwise. You can't fake it, or you can't. Yeah.
And it's the same with mem deck work, I think. But often, it's very popular now, and a lot of people ask which one and should I learn it at all. And I usually don't encourage people. I say, there are very good things without it, because I don't want anybody.
You don't want anybody else knowing it. Yeah, but then they won't buy your books, because your books use I won't say a lot of mem deck stuff, but there's plenty of good mem deck stuff in your books.
Yeah, there is some. So it's more like a selfish advice.
But it's true. It's like everybody, and I have to admit, I never, I know I use the Nicola system. No, I don't. But, I started learning it when I was a teenager. I did because that was kind of the only system out there other than Eight Kings and Cy Stebbins. And I didn't know, I didn't know Simon's system at that point.
It doesn't matter for most of the stuff anyway.
For a lot of the stuff, it really doesn't matter, does it? And there are advantages like to Eight Kings or Cy Stebbins. For example, your matching routine, which is basically you call it a power stack, don't you? Which is basically a stay stack. A lot of great magic available to me, even guys like me who don't know which card is at which number necessarily.
Yeah, that's good with the Tamara stack that you have this link to stay stack.
Yeah, that is. And how hard is it to go from mnemonica to stay stack? What's the procedure? You have that in your book, I know, laid out.
Yeah, it's not hard. In essence, you need to do like an anti-pharaoh of 18 cards every second in 2/3 of the deck.
Say that again? An anti-pharaoh of 18 cards? Okay, done.
You can just take out every second card.
Yeah, I know. But you have a way. I have to say, you have a way, and I think some people can do this, and just depending on their DNA and their personality, you have a way of being able to do things like that, to take every second card of an 18-card stack out while you're talking, and it's done very efficiently, very quickly, and it's almost as if it didn't happen. And there's a lot of that I noticed, not a lot, but there's plenty of that in your magic where it would be daunting for other people. For example, me, I have more of an amorphous, organic kind of style where, the efficient moving around of cards would just disturb my flow. Not always, but I'm sure I could learn it. But you have a way of, I guess it's the, each one of us is a vessel, and our magic is shaped by our contours. Exactly. You know what I mean? The magic that's poured into the vessel is shaped by who we are. So who you are, which is a mathematician, but also very efficient, but also you use skill. You have a very high level of skill, but your magic is completely unique. I think that makes you unique in the world of magic because I guess what I'm trying to say is you make stuff look easy that it would look hard in somebody else's hands. For example, mine.
Maybe, I know some people can get away with these kind of offbeat arrangements, and some just cannot. Performing style, for example, I don't know, Darwin Ortiz or somewhere who's very kind of
regimented, a little more formalized presentation, But then again, I say that, and then you can, people can provide all these counterexamples. For example, Danny does plenty of mathematical things, but it looks like he's just making it all up as he goes along. So I guess I'm just,
Yeah, I mean, some people are too loose, and everybody you can do everything, but of course, in the end, as a spectator, you have to still think he did nothing and not, he could have done anything. He was all doing everything all the time.
I mean, I was going through I was looking at some of your books again, and to people watching who don't know your work, he has this series of books, Handcrafted Card Magic 1, 2, and 3, and there's so much good material in there. And I'll tell you what I really loved about them was the bibliography at the back of each book. You really go into a deep dive on credits and tons of footnotes. I mean, the footnotes are as valuable as the things that you teach and all the sources, because it gives people a chance to jump into other material and learn the origin of moves and principles. And it's much more than a book of just your routines. And it's just so well credited. That's what I appreciate. It doesn't hurt to have the conjuring archives at your fingertips when you write a book on card tricks.
Yes, of course.
Which one came first? Did the books come first, and then you go, "This is, the archives," or writing books?
No, the archive came first. I started this 2004 or so.
You gave an amazing talk at Magic Live about your archive, and it was kind of mind-blowing, the numbers. Can you give us the short version of it? What the Conjuring Archive is?
It's even, it has grown since the talk, which was like 2 years ago already. It's basically a website that is an index for magic books. So it has all the tricks, all the slides, all the articles listed, and they are in a certain category. So you can search, for example, for all collector's routines in print, or all palms into the left hand from the center in print, things like this. And what's very useful is not only has it like the table of contents, but it also has like the tricks and slides that are not in the table of content that may just be mentioned in a routine. So you find a lot of stuff, and there are more than 2,000 books in there. Some very thin, some quite thick, of course, or it's a mix, but almost 100,000 entries.
Who does all this?
Yeah, it's not a lot of people. A lot of people, well said, they will contribute some things, but almost all of them stopped after maybe even half a book because they underestimated the work it is. But yeah, there are. So I'm still did maybe 2/3 of it by my own, and most of the rest was done by Lorenz Scher from Switzerland, a good friend. So he's also very fast now, because once you get the hang of it, you can enter it very quickly. You have to know all the categories more or less to be able to do it. And Harapan Ong from Singapore is also done.
Oh, Harapan, really?
Yeah.
I just talked to Harapan. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense to me because he has so many obscure little methods and, things. I mean, I think it puts you in a mindset, though, doesn't it? Going through that much material, you're able to access not only through your archive, but just your own brain. You've already categorized a lot of these moves and routines and premises.
Yeah. Also, when you read a new book, you already think, that's in this category and that belongs there. And sometimes you think, that would be hard to categorize. What is this? What's the effect actually? You always think like that.
It gives you an interesting filter to look at the world of magic through now. New material coming out and so forth. Yeah. Wow.
I thought it would have been a good idea to just never put it online, so I have it and nobody knows that I have it.
It's a superpower. It's a superpower you have. I mean, really, it's a great weapon.
I would know everything, and nobody would know or how it's possible.
It's conjuringarchive.org. Is that right?
.com.
Oh, sorry. .com. How do people? How can people support it? Can people leave beer money or?
They can. Yeah, there's a FAQ page there, and there's a link to PayPal or a list to all the books I own at home. And if anybody has too many books or wants to get rid of some, can always donate books to the archive that aren't already there.
How many books do you own at home?
Oh, it's more than 3,000.
So oh my gosh.
It's too many.
3,000? That's too many. Is that all on card magic mostly, or do you think? No, it's everything,
mostly
right?
On card and close-up magic, but I also have the Encyclopedia of Dove Magic and stuff like this. So
Encyclopedia of Dove Magic?
Yeah.
Is there anything in the Encyclopedia of Dove Magic that has made its way into your work? I'm curious. A harness for a deck switch or anything? No? Okay.
I always liked body loading stage manipulation production. So it was... I always liked watching these now, so I just kind of like to look at this if it's done well. So
yeah, I do too. I mean, it's great to watch somebody who's got a subtle take on how to steal a bird out of your jacket. Nice misdirection or something like that.
I was a big fan of the act of Salvano.
Oh yes,
Drink Productions, which is basically a Duff act with drinks.
It's a dog. Yeah, that's right. He would just have a handkerchief and he'd pull it down, and you'd see he's got a big snifter of brandy or a champagne glass. Like, where's he getting all these?
Beautiful steals, so very unusual and good. So in my bedroom as a kid, I tried to copy some of his steals.
So your parents come in to clean your room, and they just see bottles and glasses everywhere full of drinks and.
Yeah, I had plastic.
We're worried about Dennis.
And stuff like this. Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
I have an older brother. Yes.
Was he into magic at all? When you got into magic, was he? No.
No, nobody in the family. No, the only one.
Who did you show who picked the card? Your mother or your brother or your father mostly?
Yeah, it was friends and family. I performed at my own birthday parties. So
You save some money there. When did the theater show start?
basically with the theater here in Munich. Before that, as a student, I did a lot of table hopping. There was like an Italian place here, and I was there every Thursday for at least 5, 6 years.
Was that how was that? How was that? If you were there for every Thursday for 5 or 6 years, that's amazing, and it was accepted. But generally in Germany, I don't. Was there that? Was that a thing to table hop in Germany?
No, no, it's very uncommon here.
Yeah, I would thought so.
So we put like a little paper in the menu, so
You
people
kind of
know that something is
explain what's.
approaching.
Yeah, exactly.
But nobody really reads it, I think. So I still
But
come to the table and have to introduce myself, and people are they don't really want anybody at the table. So it's hard to get performing. You have a big wall that you have to overcome in the first trick every time.
yeah, really. So, what was your first trick? What was your first effect that got people
Most of
hooked?
the time was just I was doing mostly card tricks there, almost 90%, and also the first trick was like the opener trick I did in the first book, and I went more or less straight into it, like one sentence. I'm the magician here. I'm entertaining people at the table, and here, can you say stop anytime I do this?
You just go right into it. Don't give them a chance. Yeah.
So, yeah, so they cannot say no or whatever.
Yeah, you just dive in. Well, that's good. Did you put a close-up mat down?
No, they're never. No, nothing.
Ah,
No. Of
I
course,
miss
in the
those days.
theater,
I miss.
I have
Oh, in the theater, you have a nice big
but
table. You have a nice
yeah,
big card table, right? What do
yeah,
you
it's
have?
huge. Yeah,
It's huge. I know. You have felt on it, right?
yeah. There's
Do
a
you come in
felt.
and come in and put a crummy little close-up mat on top of it?
No,
I see magicians do that, like at the Magic Castle. They're given the most
I
beautiful
know.
surface. It's
Yeah,
perfect. It's billiard felt. It's perfectly,
yeah,
And they'll come in and they'll put their little close-up mat on it with cards in the four corners or something like that. The little FFF
yeah,
pad or something. I'm just like,
yeah.
what? What are you, the Princess and the Pea? How much cushioning do you need?
Yeah,
So
I hate it when it's too soft. A bit harder is even better for me, at least.
I
And
think
yeah,
so. Well, tell me about the theater. This theater is amazing in Germany. I mean, it's the audience is raked out and it's
yeah,
beautifully lit. I wish I
yeah.
had a
It has
picture of
about
it. I could probably
it
find
has
one.
about yeah. If you Google Munich Magic Theater, um, yeah, Alexander Christ and Christian Münch, they built it more than 10 years ago. And it's 85 seats or so. They are raked in 4 or 5 rows, 4.5 rows. And it's perfect for close-up magic. They are all looking down on the table. You can do long tabletop routines, and it's good. So, yeah. I started doing shows there maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. We first had mixed shows, and it was 3 people, Jörg Alexander, one of the Flicking Fingers,
Yeah.
and Christian Münch, one of the theater owners, and myself. We did magic mishmash shows.
Here it is.
Which
Can
was
you see this?
Yeah, that's it.
That's
That
it.
was
Isn't that
the first
beautiful?
version. Yeah, it
But
even
look at that. It's
looks a
kind
bit
of
different
perfect,
now.
really, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
the
the only
walls
thing.
between the rows are not there anymore. It's just
You took the walls out.
yeah,
I was going to say there's no place for people to put their beer. Where's
yeah. There's no drinks allowed in the theater.
what? Except for the performer.
Yeah, except
There's
for
another
yeah, that's how
shot.
it looks now. Yeah,
That's how it looks now. Yeah.
uh,
Fantastic. Is it?
yeah,
Is this it? Wait a second. Let me. I found one more picture. Is this it?
yeah. That's
Wow.
where I walk in. Yeah.
That's the view from coming in. Look at that. And how often did they do shows? I mean, was it on weekends or every night or?
They were doing a lot of shows, like 5 times a week, and now in winter time it would be more. No. And I was first only part in this mixed show, which happened maybe twice a month or so. And because I thought, only cards, because a show there is usually like 100 minutes plus a break. So it's like 2 hours. And I thought only cards might be too much card tricks. And then we tried it out with just a 60-minute card show. And that worked very well. And so we expanded it into 2 sections and a break in the middle. So it was 2 hours just card tricks.
Amazing.
And that worked well. And then I did a second show. So it's now 2 shows, and both are 2 hours of only card tricks.
So you have 2-hour card trick shows that you do.
Yeah.
Wow. And you've been doing it for how many years? How many performances would you say you've done in that theater?
I don't know. It would probably be in the low hundreds.
Amazing. And so is that where some of the material, like in the 3rd book, for example, are directly out of your shows?
Yeah, from all 3 books. I do material from all 3 books in the shows.
You know, I saw a video of one of my favorite routines, a performance of it, and you have to see it done. The reactions are fantastic. Mating season.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a great routine. And, you know, we can talk about it a little bit if you want. Because I don't know what this show I'm doing here, this Magic Dave show is going to be. I just said, I'm going to do a show where I talk to my friends. We'll talk about tricks and principles and whatever else we want to talk about. But I like to talk about tricks and the way things come together. Sure. And I like to talk about, you know, where things came from. So this idea of matching cards and mating cards, I mean, you had the Royal Marriages, which was Vernon's, it was kind of a breakthrough trick, I think, back in the 30s when he published it. It was a big deal. All the card magicians were excited about taking the kings and queens out of a deck of cards and doing the down-under deal, and then they'd match up, right? And but then Marlowe really went crazy with that idea of mating cards in the 60s.
Called matching routine,
The matching routine,
Miracles. That was like a 9-phase routine.
9 phases, right? Yeah.
With just single cards matching, and in the end the whole deck. And it used the stay stack all the way through.
And did he use Pharaoh shuffles as well?
Yes.
And those can be offset. The nice thing about those Pharaoh shuffles is if you cut perfectly, they can be off center, and it doesn't affect the stay stack. Is that right? Yeah. I'm trying to think if I've ever performed anything that requires a stay stack in front of an audience. I don't think I have. I don't know too many people. Well, anybody doing mnemonica, I guess, you know, Juan's explored some things like that.
Yeah.
And and Martin Nash he ended with a kind of matching thing, didn't he?
Ovation was...
Ovation, yeah. And that was a deck switch in his pocket, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. At some point, he switched it for this stay stack.
Is that what you do? Are you switching decks a lot in your theater show?
I do switch decks there, a few times in both shows.
Yeah.
But nothing extraordinary. I have this DVD set, and there you can see the switch. It's almost always the same. I just go pick something out of my bag, and that's it.
That's the way I do it too. Is when I'm sitting down at a table and I'm with some people, I just go, here, take this pin, and what do I do with that pin cap? Switch the deck. Oh, here it is. It doesn't take much, does it? People are afraid of deck switches, but I think it's probably one of the easiest things to do in Magic.
It works, and people miss it. In magicians, if the moment is good, that's all you need.
Exactly right. Yeah, they shouldn't suspect it anyway. Yeah. So this idea of this matching trick, I want to talk about this just a little bit. Mating season, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because I want people to buy your book. Obviously, it's in Handcrafted Card Magic Volume 3, and the video's great too. Do you teach magic? Do you teach this on the video?
Magic on Tap.
Magic on Tap, yeah. Yeah, you get that on Penguin too, which is where we are. But it's really great. It really is. What's the predecessor to the poker deal? You quoted.
Yes,
I think Pitt had something.
Pitt had something. He based it on an Al-Quran idea. And he had, kind of a stay stack with actual duplicates, so not mates.
Al-Quran actually used duplicates,
yes. So it was like a skill demonstration where you deal out 5 poker hands and 5 spectators memorize their cards. They take them, shuffle them all together, and then you have the second half and deal this out, apparently the same cards, and everybody gets the same cards. So that was the effect, which was quite nice. And it
Yeah.
was adapted to this by Pitt to this stay stick.
But this routine of yours, I mean, it builds so well, doesn't it? It builds so well because you deal out 5 hands. What's the effect? Shuffle deck, apparently, right?
Yeah.
And that's the point that I was just reading in Expert Card Technique that Gene Hugard, was talking in the preface to starting about prearranged decks. He says, a lot of sleight of hand guys turn their nose up to stacked deck work. You don't need to do stacked deck. But then the guys who do stacked decks turn their nose up at sleight of hand. Like, I don't need to do any sleight of hand. I can do all this stuff with the prearranged deck. But his point was the best of both worlds is really the key, because if you can't do a false cut or a false shuffle, the stacked deck can only take you so far because people are going to kind of see through what's going on at some point.
Yeah, that's true. Mixing methods is always the best idea. And if the stack has mathematical properties, then you have a third thing coming in.
Yeah, so you take a deck that's apparently shuffled, you deal out 5 hands of poker, and you have anybody pick any hand and any card in any hand, and they remember the location of that card, right? It's actually a really simple idea. It's not mathematical at all because people understand poker.
Yeah. The effect is very unmathematical. Yeah.
So, and the effect is unusual. That's the thing. It's not like I'm going to pick a card and find it. It's a weird card control thing. And I'm just wondering the imagination of the audience because you've dealt out 5 poker hands and you say, now gather them up, and then you gather them up and you say, take out any card. Remember that 5 of hearts, you want that one? Okay, it's the 3rd card down in the 4th hand. 3rd card in the 4th hand, and you move it off to the side. And then you scoop up the cards, you shuffle them again, you deal out 5 hands again, and the 3rd card down in the 4th hand is its mate, the 5 of diamonds, if it was the 5 of hearts, right? And right there off the bat, that's a great effect, I think, because it's like but they don't notice that every other card matched as well because it's a stay stack. Yeah, it's a duplicate. You've dealt, but that's to stack 52 cards to get 2 to match. I mean, just for that first effect is, I think, ingenious, really. But then the stay stack just allows you to mathematically build on that and make match even more cards, and then the finale's stunning. And I don't want to go into it, but it just builds and builds. It becomes more impossible. And that you explain the final phase because I think you spread out the cards and you go, look, at this point, you go like, for example, you see the Jack of Hearts here, its mate is, and then you go find the other red Jack, you pull it, well, this one's right next to it. But then you say the King of Clubs and its mate is all the way, down here. And you leave those and you square them up, right? And then you start dealing and every card matches all 26 pairs match as you're dealing out. And I saw a video online of this. Where did I see this video? Was it on Twitter or where would I have seen this?
Vanishing Ink posted it on his Instagram channel.
We don't say that here at Penguin. That's
just the ending.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was? It's so it's that ending is stunning. Now, do you follow that with more tricks because that seems like a closer to me?
Yeah, I mean it's near the end in the second show I do in the theater. But after this, I have the Haunted Deck, for example. Haunted Herbert. And then I have a multiple selection routine, and that's it. That's the ending.
How much of this show changed over the years? I mean, because you must have... do you see, whenever I put like a show together, when I was working on the ship and stuff, it's like, okay, I need a new ending. And then it's like, how am I going to top this ending? And then you find something and you make it work, and then you have a new, because you put something too strong in it, if you add something new, it's too strong, it's going to overwhelm the ending, really, the finale.
Yeah, I changed some things and switched some tricks, but not too much, actually. After I've decided on something and done it a few times, it kind of falls into place. It's always a strange thing. I think when you put together a routine in the beginning, you could put them in any order. then you do
Yeah.
them 5 times, and you think that must be the order. Yeah, I cannot switch it now.
Right.
It
But it's not
could have
true.
been
Yeah.
in the beginning.
It was arbitrary to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, anything can be anywhere, more or less, as long as it's a little bit of progression. And using this